I'm Rob Mann, and I have opinions.
And I'm Raymond Pennie. And I think Rob might be 1 year older than the last one that we did. And
We,
therefore, his opinions will be wiser.
is that true? Does that happen? Is that what it is?
That's how I rock and roll with it.
I like it. I like how we're just confident in our opinions here. But welcome everybody. Today we're going to talk about a report that was released about sales enablement from a company called Superd. I'll give you a disclaimer when we get to it in a second here. But the point is that everything that they say in this report is valid when it comes to delivery, aka recruiting, as well as if you are trying to improve your sales motion as a staffing and recruiting leader. Raymond, since I actually worked for Raymond and I know his behaviors towards
Uh,
sales calls, it'll be kind of
I
fun.
love to listen. I love to
Yep.
listen.
He's actually doing some of the behaviors that are really important according to the report already. But we'll get there. We'll get there too in a second here. But anyway, so obviously we're recording this in April. We just got done with Exec Forum. I actually just got done with something called Staffing Sales Summit, which had a
Was it
lot
good?
of really great sessions and great strategies on enterprise sales, on just regular sales, on SDR, BDR work, whatever, like, or sourcing, whatever you want to call it, right? The motions are all the same, whether you're selling to an individual, which is more, direct to consumer, or B2C, as you call it, if you want to use the jargon, or, B2B, if you are a salesperson and you're trying to get new clients, or if you are like Raymond and myself, selling services to businesses, or in Raymond's case, software.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a kind of an interesting tool, or kind of report to look at. I am going to put a QR code so you can scan it, and I'm going to link it in the notes. But I'm just pointing around.
Oh, how's that going to
I'm just
work?
pointing somewhere because I don't know where I'm going to put it on the actual YouTube page yet, but it'll be somewhere on here. So just pretend I pointed in the right direction instead of just being a fool for a second there. And if you are on Spotify or any of the podcast players, I will put it in the show notes so you can go grab that. And I'll give you some of the details about the report right now. All right. So Superd is a HubSpot add-on. So it'll be like a drop, pop out from the side. Or if you're not using HubSpot, there's also a Chrome extension. But the whole point of it is to improve sales enablement and also the ability to adhere to a sales process. And I'm saying that specifically because you're going to hear a lot about sales process in these notes. And I think the biggest thing, 200 people responded, mostly HubSpot users, mostly in North America. Raymond and I are HubSpot users, so it is applicable. And that's probably why they, advertised it to me. But I thought it was interesting, so I want to cover it with y'all. Again, I feel like it's highly relevant. So here's kind
I've
of the
got
rub.
there's some great headlines in here. If you don't pick them out, I will.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you have some too. So 89% of sales teams have a defined sales process, but only 36% of the folks on a sales team follow it. Right. So if you
That
have
was
10
that was the
people,
number one. That was the number
yeah.
one for me. Process exists, adherence doesn't.
And that's what they're saying. Like, it doesn't matter. Actually, like, they're like, the strategy isn't even that important. It's like, if you just follow whatever is in front of you consistently, you're actually going to have success. So thought that was interesting. Their hypothesis, by the way, Raymond, I don't know if these kind of go together, is process documentation is not the problem. So like the process is well documented for a sales team member or from the managers and the leaders. Process enforcement, AKA process adherence, is really the issue. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Again, so if you have 10 salespeople, 3 follow the process to the law, the other 7 do not. And that is where deals fall apart. Raymond, anything you want to add?
I'd probably add in there that where people have a methodology, it doesn't really matter which methodology it is, whether it's Medic or Spin, or you pick the latest trendy book and go for it. What does matter is if you're looking at a deal and you measure it against those methods, then that's going to stand you in good stead in being able to define the deal, where it is, how it works. And it's great when you look back and say, hey, we didn't get it because did we really find the economic buyer? I don't think we did. Did we really have engagement? Yeah, maybe we didn't. So it's always great in the rear view mirror, and even better if you can get it as you go towards success.
Yeah, I think I agree with both of those points. Is you should well, let me add, like, you should have a sales methodology. I think you said, and whatever it is, and it could be a combination of multiple, right? Don't make it
Yeah.
too intensive. Make it 6 or 7 points that you want. Don't make it 25 because no one's going to do that. That's just aggressive.
I thought
Unless
you
you're
were
doing
getting
something.
excited with 7. Like, can you get 5?
I know, but like, like people get like unless you're selling something really technical and like you have like really high level folks who are super detail oriented, us sales folks, you know. And then obviously if you can have those record, so a lot of the recording tools now are,
Are
you can actually
amazing.
like plug in
They're
Medic to it or
amazing.
plug in Chow, like, and they'll pull out the things for you, and they'll grade you on it, which is really nice. So you can get like real time grading and real time admin work done for you, so you don't actually do it yourself. I loved the recorders that put the tasks in HubSpot for me, so I know like, hey, like I said I would do this. Like if something doesn't remind me that I said I would do it on a call, I'm like, "Ah, God, I don't know if we don't remember to do that right now, or 2 hours from now when I get to it. Anyway, so guys, make sure that you have a process. Make sure that you are following it. So, and this is where I think this is the next thing you're probably going to say is 58% of respondents say managers only manage from dashboards. They don't actually go into the deals themselves. And the deal inspection, like going in and, to Raymond's point, looking if you've identified the economic buyer, and if your manager has challenged you that is truly who the economic buyer is, or has challenged you that this is really the pain point that they're trying to solve, and it's painful enough to cause change. And you know who the competition is. You know what their budget is. So someone has to come in and just ask. Like, they don't have to be a dick about it per se, but they do need to be a coach about it and say like, hey, are we really sure? I listened to the call, and this is what it was what I kind of heard. And I just want to make, like, should we validate it? I can go validate it, and then it allows someone like Raymond to go to the CEO of a company and be like, hey, like, I love this. And by the way, Raymond, that's one thing Raymond does all the time. He listens to every call. He he runs in the
Not
morning,
every, but most.
and but
It's
he
something that
listens to our
keeps me
call. Like, I
ticking
knew he would
along.
listen to the call. I'm sure you enjoyed all of mine because they were super casual and very
Fun.
informative.
Super fun.
Uh, but the thing is, he listened to him, and then he can have an intelligent conversation about him. And the nice thing is that he can give you some feedback on, hey, I heard this part, I heard this in it. Now, what I would say is like, hey, the CEO, this is kind of a rare thing, the CEO listening to the calls. Um, but if you want them to, highlight them, tag them in a call note and be like, hey, can you listen to at least this part and tell me what you think? I need help. And what it allows Raymond to do is validate I mean, at the very least, he validates the deal as actually a deal by going to the CEO and emailing them and being like, hey, we're in a deal cycle. I just want to introduce myself. Or you could do that to the person who you're selling with to just validate, right? So it kind of gives you some engagement, to see if that is actually a deal or not, or to validate the thing that, your manager might be challenging. Mr. Pennie, anything?
I think that's entirely true. We use Gemini. Obviously, there's Chorus, there's Gong. I think HubSpot have got their own one. There are more and
Fathom,
more of
everything
these
has their own
things. Yeah.
now. Big
Yeah.
fan of Fathom. Um,
Okay. I'm
and
less
by
of
the
a
way,
fan of Fathom. I'm less of a fan
it's
of Fathom.
free, or it's like $25.
It's
It's
free,
so,
and
yeah.
the freeness is where it becomes an issue. Because I heard a story this week where,
Oh, I saw it too.
uh,
Did you see that on
yeah,
LinkedIn?
yeah,
So
somebody
remember,
leaves and takes their Fathom account with them.
yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that's why you should have that. Like, my takeaway was like, why aren't you recording the calls yourself? Like, that you should be recording it. And if they want to record it, you should have a tool for them to do it. Remember, I tell the story. Do you remember that text us story when I was like working in locums, and
Keep
we
going.
did it? So I was a locums recruiter, guys, and we offered a bonus for an emergency medicine physician. All of that conversation, like, it was like 5 shifts or 3 to 5 shifts. It was all done via text, and we didn't have a texting provider that was integrated into the ATS yet. So all of it was done on personal text. That recruiter left. The doctor got paid his normal rate or her normal rate.
No, not the rate they wanted.
That doctor flipped the F out, And we text us because we realized we needed to capture all those conversations in the ATS so that we could cover our ass. Luckily, we were really good friends with that recruiter. He sent us screenshots of the
Yeah, brilliant.
conversation. We fixed the invoice rate. We fixed the pay rate. Everything worked out, but it was like delayed and all because the things were not in. Like if that recruiter left and his conversations were in the doctor record or the job record, then
It
we're
would
all
have been
set. We
great.
just don't even need to bother him or her. Highly
Can
recommend
I just
having a
can I just can
recorder.
I just pick can I then pick up on one of the things that fits into from the report is that tools fail unless they've got a workflow fit. So what is the workflow of you as the locums recruiter sending messages? It's got to be there at the right time. If actually you give a tool that doesn't fit with the flow, then it'd be nice to have, but isn't going to be used. So I thought that was a good one. And people who had teams where they had tools to help the workflow they actually did, not the workflow that somebody in IT or a manager said they did, um, you're twice as well adopted. And I think that's just, it's good to see what I think is obvious written down, but equally, it's so often that the tool identified will be a theoretical fit based on a document that someone created rather than watching what people do. I think there's more and more around the intelligence
Yeah.
of how you do your job really, um, and therefore giving you tools to help in that process. So I love that about the report.
Yeah, I saw that too. The number of like the tools not being used because they. Well, I think we have the same thing in staffing, right? Like people don't
Definitely.
acknowledge how we're working, and I know IT buys something or a leader buys something, and this is really all stems from the fact that you just don't ask the people doing the job what they're doing. Like, let's be honest,
Or
if you don't
or you
apply,
don't listen to what they say.
well, I mean, sometimes you want to be the hero, right?
Yeah, okay.
You think you know it all. If you're one of those leaders, if you that thinks you know it all, don't listen to. You're probably not listening to this anyway, but don't listen to this because you have to ask your teams what's working and how they do things, or go listen to a call and then go look in the CRM record and see what they did to Raymond, to what Raymond probably does. And, all
Oh
right,
yeah.
so continuing on here again, we said the hypothesis is that the documentation of the process is not the issue. The actual enforcement and adherence is. Um, Reps skip processes because managers. So 30% of the reps say they skip processes because the manager doesn't enforce it. Managers are not. Are there managers are not. So the issue with managers enforcing processes and their strategy around it is they're stretched too thin. This is probably even more so in recruiting and staffing because we expect managers to run a desk and have a book of business while they are actually supposed to be improving the performance of the people who they manage. Would you agree? Disagree? Is that the same way in the
I think
UK?
when you've got your own target, it may be a slightly slower target, but you've got to keep the plates spinning that you're involved in to order to help you with your own quota. There are some businesses where managers don't have targets, and therefore the team total is how the manager gets paid. I think they probably get a better team performance than when there's competing influences. But hey,
Yeah.
both happen, both exist. Sometimes you want your manager to be closing the biggest deals because they're the ones that they know the best chat. So it's about being selective.
Yeah. And I think there's a difference in like, you know, obviously Martin has a quota, but I think he doesn't have like you know, he's more of like a nice to have and he takes the deals that he wants at the scale that he wants. So it's more, I don't know how Matt operates, but I feel like that's how Mark operated.
Yeah.
He was never like, and he was always available to coach and to work on the deal with you. So I never felt like I was like competing for time because he had a deal. Does that make sense?
No, I think that's
It could
a
just be
good
Martin
call.
being a good leader, but
Yeah, I just probably wanted to say one thing. I think it's never been easier for a manager to be across his whole team, his or her whole team. If you don't use Claude, if you don't use Claude's desktop, if you haven't got it connected to HubSpot or Bullhorn or your mail system or the shared mailbox or wherever you need to go to gather information, just go and do it. If you don't know how, drop me a line. I'll give you some guidance notes. But um, the morning the morning summary or the midday summary. that Claude Cowork can pull together of so what's going on in the team gives you a great snapshot. And I'm more and more in line with it and have added more and more features to it every day that it runs. So if you don't do that, if you don't know how, if you think I'm speaking a foreign language, then yeah, Rob or I a message and we can take you through it.
Yeah, I think I might need you to help me with Cloud Code to debug my
Oh,
network
will do.
card. I need my
Yeah.
network card debugged because I think that's why. So this is the only computer that has poor internet service in my entire house. So it has to be the network card. Anyway, unrelated. I tried to do it yesterday, Raymond, and I failed. But I think I only spent like 2 minutes, like 2 seconds on it, not any significant time. I'm sure I could figure it out if I actually sat down and did it. Anyway, so the big thing. So the teams that are winning are running the same playbook the same way for the same types of deals every time. They are consistent. The manager is adhering to the process. They are helping coach their teammates through the process, and they are winning because they hit the milestones. They look at the sales strategy to make sure that they have all the things they need, that they've identified they need to win a deal, and things are not slipping through the cracks. Again, if your managers are super stretched, that could be an issue. But if they're able to, lead and spend time on these deals, then you kind of have to figure out what's more valuable, right? Them closing deals or them helping 8 people close deals. Be interesting. And then finally, the recommendations from the super team. I wanted to just kind of drop these for you guys. I thought they were interesting. I'll put them put them on the screen. I'll put them in the notes as well. So define clear process expectations. Embed those processes into the daily workflow. Inspect execution relentlessly. Relentlessly was their word, not mine, but I think it makes sense. You don't have to be a dick about that, by the way, as well. Just, consistent is relentless.
Now you tell me.
You're never a dick. Supporting managers when they enforce the process. I was speaking to you leaders. So like that's the culture. We talk about this culture thing being a cascade of going downhill. So if Raymond never went in HubSpot or never listened to a sales call, the culture around using Jiminy, the culture around using HubSpot would be dramatically different at Kylo, where the company he runs. If you are a CEO and you expect your teams to use the software, I hate to break it to you, you need to use the software.
Yeah. There's a great example. There's a guy that used to be involved at a company client of ours called Investigo. He came out of Michael Page. His name was Gary. When Gary got Cube 19, as it was then, Bullhorn Analytics as it was now, he became the best chairman you could ever imagine because he would wander the floor. He would pop up and say hi and say, good luck on your interview next Tuesday, because I know it's a big deal and I know it's close to your quota. And people are like, whoa, how does he know? He had Cube 19 on his phone. He scrolled through it. He knew what was happening. He knew he was going to go and speak to Rob. He did a quick check. He had a positive word to say.
Amazing. That's so simple.
He didn't know how to use it. Probably more than that, due respect, Gary. But he was motivational for everyone.
That's super, super on point, though. I think that makes sense. So, and then their process is use automation and AI to accelerate what works. So I think that those are the 5 bullets that they gave. I think the thing, and this is what we heard a lot last year too, is people want to use AI. And if you want to use AI, that means you want to use automation. And I hate to break it to you, you want to be good at reporting because all those things rely on good data. And if you have 5 salespeople or 10 salespeople, and they're all going through the sales process in their own way, shape, or form, and they're all entering different parts of data, and they're putting stuff in fields when it should be in a node, or things in nodes when they should be in fields, AI and automation are going to have a hard time working. So you cannot have X amount, just the amount of sales and recruiting people you have, right? Because whenever I say sales, it also applies to recruiting. You cannot have these recruiters or these salespeople doing it, however many people you have on your team, doing it their own way. If they're doing it their own way, you are going to have trouble executing on AI, automation, and reporting. So
I wanted to probably take a headline. There was one other headline that stuck with me that said, AI is an accelerator, not a fix.
Yeah.
100%. And I like that one because
I like that one too.
Who are maybe
maybe
thinking that AI is just going to go and fix everything. I don't think it's going to fix it. I think it's going to make things work faster or work badly faster.
Oh yeah, break faster, which is nice sometimes, but good to know that it didn't work quickly. Anyway, yeah, so those are the takeaways, guys. Again, this is I'll put the link somewhere on the page for you guys to click it, so you guys can go find that report. Again, they sell a sales enablement tool, but I think it applies. I think you can do a lot of this. We talk a lot about enforcement. We talk a lot about process. We talk mostly about not letting your 10 recruiters or your 100 recruiters doing the recruiting and sales process 100 different ways, right? They need to be doing it one, maybe, if you have like different, if like you have a healthcare team and like a accounting and finance team, the backbone should be the same. Maybe the credentialing part's different, but 85% of it needs to be the same. And then you have your delta. You cannot have 100 people in 5 different divisions doing it 100 different ways. That is not going to be how it works anymore. So however you need to do to enforce that. Again, there's great sales consultants in the States. I'll let Raymond jump in a second if there's good ones in the UK and EMEA, but like I love Mark Winter, love Tom Erb, Casey Jaycox, all these guys, they pick a strategy and they help you enforce it, or they enforce it with you. The team at Butler Street does a great job. Joey Frampus is a friend. So those are the people in the States. I'm probably missing one or two, like Kim Henderson, Anna Frazzetto. They all kind of, they're just kind of like, it's like the gym trainer, right? Like they're all kind of just helping you be accountable and do the motions that actually work. So reach out to me if you want to meet any of those people. Raymond, anybody from the UK and EMEA that you want to highlight?
I think there's a number, but I wouldn't want to miss any out. I think there are also some people who are very good at maybe some of the DevOps stuff, and where DevOps starts crossing into sales. Today we're speaking about process, we're speaking about sales. There's still a process there, and if you don't have the tool that fits your workflow, then that's going to make your sales strategy harder to deal with. So
yeah, RevOps, DevOps. I think RevOps is kind of part of that digital operations person we spoke about.
I agree. That's where I was
last
heading.
week. So
that's where I was heading. Yeah.
Anyway. All right, team. Well,
stuff.
Raymond, I appreciate it. We went a little long on this one, but I think it was super impactful. And I think if you guys have any questions or comments about DevOps, RevOps, digital transformation, digital operations, or just
Claude.
Raymond's excellent Claude work he's doing.
Claude. Go Claude.
Yeah. Anyway, we appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to R Cubed, where Raymond and Rob talk recruitment, or recruitment is talked about by Raymond and Rob. Please remember to subscribe wherever you are tuned in and give it a like. Also, those comments are going to help get this show on the road. If you found anything valuable, definitely need to subscribe. But thank you guys so much. We'll see you next episode.